Hello everyone and welcome to a big video here today. A big episode. It's the French Grand Prix and some more My Team action. Now then, first of all, if you haven't seen the previous race at Canada, go check it out because it's a big one. A big moment, a key moment in this championship perhaps. And we arrive here at, let's say, my last chance before we go into some pretty hard tracks for me because Austria and Silverstone are the next two, and they're usually quite hard to do well at. So, this weekend marks the start of the European season. Therefore, no mission winner. We have replaced it with simply a team logo and a cheeky little free plug. Like, comment, subscribe, and if you're new to the channel, or if you watch my videos all the time, then feel free to do any of those three right now, as it would massively help me out. But here is the new ride for the next few races until we can reincorporate Mission Winnow later on in the season. So hopefully you like it. I've also added the new Polar logo next to the side pod there. So yeah, the car looking pretty decent this weekend as we jump into the R&D chart. Now then, you can see we're still bringing upgrades. We're constantly recovering and we're gradually getting closer now to the top end. And I will say, the last race felt like a turning point. Now you can see the weather forecast for qualifying in the race here. We have mixed conditions for both of them, so we'll see how that pans out. But going back on my point just a moment ago, it does feel like the car turned a corner in the last race, not just in terms of the result, but also it actually felt nice to drive and it felt satisfying. I was able to get more and more time out of the car, and I do think we found something. And to be fair, we don't have many outright performance upgrades left. All we have left really is tyre wear improvements and fuel efficiency upgrades, which aren't necessarily, tied to outright performance. So yeah, we're going to try and do a few more upgrades, but I reckon over the next one or two races we could really bridge that gap. And I want to try and bring some big upgrades for Austria and especially Silverstone, which is a race that I'm a little bit worried about because the AI are pretty strong around there. Now, in Q1, my first lap, 25.8, gave us P14 actually, again kind of reconfirming that the car has turned a bit of a corner. Nonetheless, we need to improve, so we're going to try and get another lap out. So into turn 1, down to 5th gear, just about avoiding the pylons on the apexes as we find about a 10th through there. Now down towards turns 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this sort of sequence where we have to be aggressive and use plenty of curb, especially in the slow speed, to try and rotate the car. You can see here 2 tenths up in the first sector as we find a bit more time on the exit. And now onto the back straight, getting ready to open DRS as we're 3 tenths up on our previous lap, which is very good so far. And this could be enough to move us into Q2. Into the chicane, on the anchors, down a 4th gear. And then important here to sacrifice the left a little bit to open the right and really maximize your exit, which is really, really important. And you can see we find a little bit more lap time as we're now 3 and a bit tenths up, heading into the flat out right-hander of Senior. Then into the double apex right downhill. Important here to come back in for that late apex to really carry that speed up the hill as we go up towards this next left-hander. The trickiest corner on the circuit for me, off-cambered, easy to understeer. We actually run a bit wide and I have to get off the throttle to avoid invalidating, so I have to scrub off a bit of speed and therefore we lose about a 10th in that sequence as we're going to make our way into the final corner, keeping it nice and tight to the apex, and now getting that drive off the final corner. A little bit of wall spin, but we're going to improve by 2.5 tenths of a second at least across the line, 25.5, and we go P13 at the time, and by the end of the session that was going to be enough to move us into Q2. Worth noting, Esteban Ocon has a 5-place grid penalty, so that will probably benefit us in the race. But yeah, we're into Q2. We just made it. Or I'll say just, to be fair, 3 tenths over Ilott, but we were pretty close with Matsushita for P16. Now, I want to quickly mention one thing as well regarding Michael Schumacher. I saw some comments saying I've got the difficulty wrong, but I'm actually running a higher difficulty than I was at the end of Season 4. The difference is Michael isn't that good. Unfortunately, I've been noticing he's just not that fast, even though for some reason he's 100 overall. A bit like Rosberg, he's just a bit disappointing. And so far, my best teammates have been Lundgaard and Schwartzman, which are F2 drivers. So it just goes to show that I think there's some kind of thing here where the F2 drivers are better than the legends or the higher rated drivers. Because for some reason, Michael just hasn't been that impressive. And the car isn't that bad anymore. Like I mentioned, even though we are down on the performance graph, it doesn't tell the full story because we don't have many performance upgrades left. So the car isn't that far away now. So Michael should be doing better, and he isn't. So yeah, a bit of a weird one there. So I thought I'd note that down as we now move into Q2. So in this session, the rain's going to take part. You can see here on the weather forecast, it's going to come in about 10 to 15 minutes into Q2. So instead of going out for 2 runs, I'm going to play it safe. I just want to make sure I get a lap in. So we're going to go for 1 lap only on the softs. And we're going to go around that 10-minute mark. So here we go. This is going to be my last lap in Q2. We're going to see if it does the job. 25.5 to aim for from Q1 as we make our way into turn 1. Aggressive there again, trying to avoid the pylons on the inside apexes as we race down towards turn 3. So far so good. Now we've got to try and attack these curbs, and actually doing a good job there of keeping the car super tight through the first sector. Didn't quite get the inside curb there. I run a bit wide and I just got some understeer, which cost me a bit of time. Otherwise, a respectable first sector as we go onto the back straight. DRS open now as we prepare the chicane. So again, bring the car gradually over to the right. I used the bit of tarmac as a reference to brake as we throw the car in. Overcommitted a little bit, carried a bit too much speed on entry, so I ended up not really optimizing my exit like on my previous lap in Q1. As we cross the split, we're on a 47.3 and a 10th up on Lance Stroll. Making our way through Senior and now into the double apex right. Throwing the car in quite a bit early this time, but we get some understeer. Luckily, we managed to keep it under control and we get a relatively decent exit. Could have maybe pushed that a little bit more. Into the left-hander this time, we do a good job of not making the mistake as before, and we get some nice clean drive out that corner. And now the final 2 corners here, tipping the car in really early, and we actually wash out a little bit. Then the final corner again, didn't quite catch the apex, and I think I'm maybe overheating the fronts as we open the RS. You can see there 104 on both front tyres, so just pushing the front tyres a bit too much as we cross the line and go for a 25.6. which is a 10th off our Q1 time, which is a bit disappointing. In the end, we finished in P15 as the rain started to fall and Q2 ended in the wet. And yeah, unfortunately, it's a bit disappointing. I do think, looking at the lap times, we could have got Lance Stroll. I think that's more or less where the car was, maybe even Ocon. But I do think the Stroll and Giovinazzi, we were a 10th up in the middle sector. I believe we could have done better because all 3 sectors were a bit rough all round. They weren't that great. So, yeah, that's it for qualifying. Q2, P15. But Ocon has a 5-place grid penalty, so P14 for us in the race.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday and will start from pole position. And Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Sainz, George Russell and Perez. Gasly, Ricciardo, Vettel and Yuki Tsunoda. Stroll, Giovinazzi, Valtteri Bottas, Martinez, Matsushita, Eilert, Esteban Ocon. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Christian Lundgaard. Latifi, Michael Schumacher, Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So for the race, P14 here today, and to be fair, we've got a chance at some points because the rain is falling, and that usually means opportunity. Now then, we have a Mercedes to our left, which is very interesting. I'd love to know who that might be, but a grid penalty of sorts for one of the Mercedes as we start from P14. Now, let's look at the strategy of this race because we have rain for the first half of the race and then dry for the second half. So the plan here really is to try and stay on the inters all the way onto the dries. Fuel-wise, I'm going to run less than 1 lap, so -1. That should do the trick for us in terms of hopefully being a bit more competitive. The car should save fuel under wet conditions, and the car setup is going to be unchanged. So we're going to jump into it. It's a big race. Again, after the last one in Canada, we've got another chance here today to try and get some extra points. So I intend to take full advantage of that. So hopefully you guys are excited for this one. So without further ado, let's jump into it, and let's see if we can turn this around. Well, here we go. A big race, a big opportunity. 5 lights. And we're underway. Good start. Not great, but good enough. Looks like Nobuhiro Matsushita getting an absolute flyer in the Alpha. We're going to try and re-challenge around the outside of turn 1. briefly making it 3 wide with Bottas and Masachita. Still going at it as we battle away down into the next sequence. We've got Giovinazzi, Tsunoda and Stroll also battling here as we head into the slow bit. We're going to try and get some more moves done here, as we can't do much right now as Tsunoda and Stroll creating a 2 wide roadblock, but we managed to get on the inside of Lance Stroll, which will be beneficial to us as we try to beat him in a traction battle onto the back straight. We're going to go on the outside and we're going to make that move work. So up to P12 already. Great start from us as we make our way now to the back straight chicane here. We're getting caught up on the straight. We're going to turn in early. Oh, I've run in a bit wide. I've overcommitted there big time. I have to clean up the exit real good to make sure we make up for it, which we do. And just like that, P12, very good start for us. We've got Stroll behind, then Bottas behind him. But we'll take that. That is a really, really good start. It's exactly what we need as now. Stroll tries to go back up the inside. Oh my God, Stroll, what is that?
Be careful with the front wing. You've taken some minor damage. No need
Damn
to
it.
worry about tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
What is that all about? Stroll, Jesus. Oh, we're going to have to pit.
Understood. Stopping this lap.
Well, that is not ideal. Going to have to get a front wing change. This is a big problem. We are now relying on the AI to hopefully stop for another set of inters. But this wasn't part of the plan, man. This is a bit of an issue. My mistake, I shouldn't have run wide really at Senior, the fast right-hander, because that put Stroll with the chance to get past. But yeah, at least this will give us a chance to just lap in cleaner and try to push as much as we can. Here we go. Come on, guys. Faster, faster, faster. Go, 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 go. Come on, faster, faster, faster.
Go, go, go.
7.6, not great, but it'll do. Right, we're going to have to really push now.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
Now, for you guys to get an idea, I want you to memorize the deltas you can see on the top left and memorize those as a reference as we try to push. I'll come back to you in a few laps time with an update and we'll see where we are. Well, let's see what the pace is. Not too bad, to be fair. Verstappen just did a fastest lap at 37.5, so we're only 0.3 off Verstappen's pace. This is exactly what we need. I went aggressive, I went +1 on the front wing in the pit stop, so we've got a lot of front end on the car. Moment to counteract for it, but if we can drive it, it's going to be fast. What we need now is for these conditions to stay out long enough so that the AI pit for another set of inters. That would get me back in the race. If it goes all the way to dry and the AI do that, then we could be in trouble.
10 minutes left of this rain, then we think it's going to dry up. 10 minutes.
Okay, that's interesting. I think if that's the case, that could be bad news for us. I think the AI won't have to stop again, which is not ideal. We're on for another personal best and a small improvement, so we're keeping that pace up. Just got to keep ticking these laps over. If we keep this pace up, that's the best we can do right now, and then hope for a miracle. What a lap this is. This might just be our fastest lap. Let's see. Yes, it is. 37.4. What a lap. Car feels great. That front wing change is perfect for these conditions. We are flying. Now, I want to quickly talk about something. There was a few comments on the recent episodes talking about the AI difficulties, saying I made it too easy, especially the last one. And nothing's really changed, to be honest, guys. It's just the fact that Michael Schumacher is actually terrible. A bit like Rosberg, really. Rosberg was underwhelming, and actually Schwartzman has been the best teammate I ever had, especially when he first joined the team. So it just seems like their legends aren't as good as they're cut out to be. Because, I mean, right now Michael Schumacher can't get past Mick in the Haas, which is a much, much slower car. And, you know, it just shows that he's not that fast, because he should be doing better as Tsunoda retires. A safety car would be fantastic right now, but I don't think we're going to get one. Either way, we're going to gain a place and move up into P18 as we keep pushing here. Still on for a strong lap, only a tenth and a half off our personal best. Let's try and get Mazepin now if we can.
Yellow flag.
Yep, Verstappen responds with a fast lap of his own, which is still in the 4s with us, but just a touch quicker. Let's keep going though. Oh, I like out as well. 2 retirements.
The safety car
Yes.
is out. We need you to reduce your pace. It looks like there's a high amount of debris on the track.
We'll take that. That safety car is going to be a W for us. I mean, to be fair,
The safety car is waiting for the leader. You may overtake it. Overtake the safety car.
I was going to say, you know, I ideally would have liked to have, you know, seen the AI pit for another set of inters and keep pushing, because we would have gained. We'll see now if they pit, because if they pit under the safety car, all the ground we've made up, because we're running under Delta, we are going to benefit. So we might still gain some places, to be fair. But yeah, I think I would have preferred staying out and seeing if the AI would have actually pit, because we would have gained, I think, a bit more than this. But still, let's see what happens at the end of the lap. Okay, some cars are in the pits, and this is bad for us because we're losing time. We need the delta to go.
Drop your speed, our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
And there we go, the delta's gone, so we're back up to racing speed, but a lot of cars are in the pits and they've got their stops done, so this hasn't actually worked out for us.
Michael is coming in for his stop.
Which is very unfortunate. So that's the only issue of being so far back. That's why I was saying I would have preferred to have had, you know, no safety car and just let the AI pit naturally. Even still, we'll gain a couple of places. So it'll put us back where we were more or less before we got damage, I'd say. P16, that's okay, we'll take that. But we aren't going to have fresh tyres anymore. We're going to be on pretty worn. And Mazepin more than me, and I think there's more cars yet to pit. Whether they'll pit this lap or not pit at all, we don't know yet, we'll find out. Looks like nobody's going to pit, so this is going to stay as it is right now. And we're going to see how it goes. Who's going to make it? And are we going to go straight into the dries after this? How long is this friend going to stay out for? We'll find out. Well, here we go for the restart. This needs to be perfect. We'll get past Mazepin straight away. That won't take long because I was so much quicker than him, especially now. Like, I'm the safety car. I could just pass him so easily. He's really, really slow. So this won't take long at all. Just go wait for the green flag rather than, you know, a corner. And we should even get him on the straight if we get the traction right. So let's get ready for the restart then. We're going to set it up nicely at the final corner. And there we go, green flag. We can now overtake. Oh, big bit of oversteer, but now we can go for this. This is the one car that I know we've got the edge on, and on the straight. Around the outside. Lovely. Swept around the outside, lovely stuff. Right, let's go after these guys. We've got some worn tyres, but I'm still confident we have the pace. There's going to be a mixture of cars. I don't think everybody got the chance to pit, so there are going to be some cars that are slower with their original start race tyre on. And we may still see some cars box for their original pit stop window because it's not showing signs of drying up here. So this isn't over yet. Up to P15, and I think we could be in the points if some cars pit for their scheduled stops. Verstappen 36.9, so half a second up. Mazepin and Ocon pit, so damage for those guys. Good thing we cleared them because we would have been involved in that. So we're in this race and I've got pace. Let's start to make some moves here.
Okay, I think the track will be drying out quite soon. Mind you don't burn out your tyres.
So there's an update regarding the weather, so not long to go now. I think we're all going to go into the mediums, so it's going to be the same tyre for everyone. So it's going to be a straight out battle. So the timing of this pit stop could be key. Let's see what happens here. There's a bit of a scrap going on in the midfield. I think some cars are definitely struggling more than others with tyre wear. Will anyone pit to get rid of their inters before the switch? We'll see out. Right now I'm lining up Sebastian Vettel for the move here. I feel like I can maybe challenge him, possibly into the final corner.
We're still happy that we're on the right tyres at the moment.
But that's another quick message, so maybe the track is changing fast, but look at this. And now we'll look up the inside of Sebastian Vettel into the final corner and pick one off. There we go. One place gained. Leclerc next up. That was a lovely move, nice and clean. I think it's Lundgaard at the front of this train who's just causing the hold up in the Aston Martin. And it seems like the AI are no good at overtaking around here. Great exit out of the chicane. That's going to put us right at the back of Leclerc here. Do I dare? Do I fancy a move? I think on the brakes, wasn't quite confident enough. Well, we are flying, man. Like, the pace is good, I knew that. My pace was decent in qualifying. I just let myself down a little bit because we could have got a much better Q2 result. But the pace has got better. Something changed in Canada, you know, even in Monaco, but Canada especially. The car actually feels nice to drive now. It feels more competitive. And I'll explain why later on, but here we go again. Do I fancy this? Up the inside of Leclerc. That seems to be the overtaking spot. The AI losing a lot of time by going single file.
The situation is an interesting one, but I think the right call is to stick with what we've got right now.
Yeah, I do agree. Track is starting to dry though. We're not far away now. I can see the track getting a bit patchy in places, which means we're drying up. Do I go for the send here? We've had a great exit out of the chicane. Not quite. Russell actually fairly decent on the brakes, but it's not going to stop me from getting the cut back. Crucially, this track is very front limited, So we've still got some rear tyres to work with. Here we go. We're going to try and send one up the inside of Senior on George Russell here. A little downshift just to make sure we get through the corner. Russell hangs on around the outside. And Russell hangs on altogether. Fair play. Good, clean, fair racing. Let's keep the pressure on him though. As we will line up that move into the final corner like we always seem to do around here. Great exit. Putting the pressure on George here. Up the inside one more time. Lovely. And we've got cars in the pits. This is what I meant. Here we go. Some cars didn't pit under the safety car. Verstappen's one of them. Verstappen's in the pits.
Pit this lap, so push now.
Okay, that's huge. Other AI just messing this race up. I think those guys didn't pit. I'm convinced they didn't pit. So surprisingly, Red Bull prioritised Perez over Verstappen. And the track is starting to dry now. We're getting closer to just going to the softs, to be honest. If we can get to lap 17, we can go straight to the soft tire, to the end. So this race is going our way. So becoming a masterclass. After front wing damage on lap 1, we've just kept it clean and drove some very strong race pace. I'm going to get the softs ready because I think my gut feeling is telling me it's going to be soft tyres. But this is massive, massive in this race. Oh yes, the AI are pitting. More cars are in. Lundgaard pits, Sainz and Perez stay out, but we've got Ricciardo in there, I think, or Norris for Mercedes. I think it's actually Gasly, not Ricciardo. So we're going to be P3 in this race. Everyone's pitting. Is it for dries? No, it's not. They're all going into inters. So we can win this race. We can absolutely win this. 100%. Well, now that Lundgaard's got out of the way, these two are pushing a bit more now. Not quite able to match their pace. They're both staying out, so I think we are net P3 at the minute. It all depends who's going to pit before it gets dry. The track is slowly getting there, but I mean, we're still, you know, well within Inter's territory here.
No threat of rain for the time being. Conditions looking good. Inters seem like the fastest tyre for now.
So the rain has stopped. It's a question of when is the track going to dry. But these two are starting to push a little bit, and I'm starting to struggle to keep up now. My tyre wear is kicking in as we approach the 50s. This could be the lap. I'm going to just go one more. I want to be able to run them soft tyres at the end, so I want to play it safe. One more lap should do the trick, so that we're within range of territory of getting to the end on softs. It helps that they're fresh. But these two are starting to push a little bit now. I can't quite keep up. My gut feeling says to pit, but I'm seeing a bit of spray kick off the back of the tyres still, which for me is usually the sign that it's not quite there yet. We're on for a personal best here. We're squeezing everything out of this. Sainz and Perez pit. Is that the moment? I haven't been called on the radio, so they could be going for another set of inters. For all we know. We know what the AI are like. I'm going to stick to my gut feeling. So we're going to take the lead, but it looks like the AI are pitting. That might be the changeover, to be fair. We're going to box this lap. If they'll go for dryers, we'll know. Verstappen out there for now, so that's the key thing. Fastest lap for him. Front left getting a bit hot. I think it's time to go. But then again, I don't want to throw it away, man. I've heard nothing on the radio. We'll go one more lap, just to be sure. If everybody behind me pits for dryers, then I'll know. But we've got a bit of a buffer to work with. Leclerc's staying out though, and so's Verstappen. So yeah, we're not there yet, but we're not far.
I don't think the line is really dry enough yet to start thinking about slicks. Let's hold on to the inters for a while longer.
Are you sure, Jeff? I'm struggling on my tyres now. I'm probably overheating the left front after those two corners. Leclerc and Verstappen are taking chunks at me now, but I've got nothing to respond with. I'm running on, you know, pretty worn tyres. I'm just trying to stay alive. Still no message about switching, so we'll go for one more. But I am struggling on my tyres now, big time. Oh no.
Caution, the virtual safety car has just been deployed due to a build-up of debris on the track.
That would have been it. I would have gambled if that had come out 10 seconds ago. Right, let's not lose the delta here.
Green flag.
Right, good restart. Lost a little bit to the clover, that's okay. We've got to change over though. I'm not going to make it to the end on these tyres. I will puncture. When is the changeover, man? It's just been so slow. One of the slowest changeovers I've ever had in terms of weather conditions. I will go for one more lap, but that is it. We can't go any longer. I'm having flashbacks to when I got a puncture a few races ago. What race was it? I can't even remember, but I don't want to have that situation again. So we need to box now this lap and hope that the dry tyres work.
Alright, consensus in the garage is that it's probably about time for the slick tyre now. It will be slippery, but it will probably be quicker.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
There we go.
Confirmed.
That is it.
Right, come in at the end of this lap.
Great timing. I was going to pit this lap anyway, whatever happened. I couldn't go any longer because my left front was going to go. So this is it. We can win this race. It's going to be tough, but we can win it. We've got Leclerc in between myself and Verstappen. What we need now is a great stop from the boys. Do not speed now.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online.
Oof, just about made it. 75% left front. Verstappen's staying out. That's interesting. Is that because Harris is going to pit? Ooh, that is good for us. That gives us a chance to win this race, though. That gives us a massive chance to win this race. Right, here we go. Ooh, what a stop. 1.9.
Go now.
The team have been on point lately with these pit stops, man.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
I'm back underway. No traffic. Leclerc had a bit of a slower stop, so he's lost a little bit of time to us. But let's see if is Max going to pit, or is he going to try and stay out to the end? Is that what some of these AI cars are going to try and do? Stay out to the end, maybe? Oh, there's a lot of grip. There is a lot of grip on these. Yeah, this is definitely the way to go. There, I'll say a couple laps ago, maybe. For some reason, the game never offered us the strategy change. I think we're going to set our fastest lap on the out lap. Here we go, then. We're going to try and get towards Russell straight away. We've got Leclerc, who's probably going to be faster at this stage. So we need to try and do our best. Here we go, draining the battery on Russell here as we look for the move. Russell with a pinch as we go through up the inside. Let's keep going. Verstappen's staying out. And so is, I think, Lando Norris in the Mercedes. I don't know which Mercedes that is, but they're staying out. They're gambling. So is Carlos Sainz. So some cars are splitting it. Not quite going to set our fastest lap, but we're only going to be less than a second off. That's how fast the outlap was. Right then, so Leclerc is going to be following us. It's going to be a race to the finish to see who can get this right. The back end feels very loose at the minute, so I can't fully commit the way Leclerc is because the AI tend to have traction control inbuilt into them, as you guys know by now. Well, Freud doing the tactics here. They're keeping Sainz out to try and get in my way and slow me down into Leclerc. Luckily, I think we're going to just breeze past anyway. Oh no. Wow. That was not ideal. Norris is pit, and so is Verstappen. So that is it. We're going to take the lead. These guys who gambled couldn't make it work. Well then, this is going to be interesting. Can we win this race out of nowhere after lap 1? Bit of lap traffic here in the form of Mazepin. Hopefully he gets out of the way. I do not want to have contact, so I'm being extra cautious. Leclerc's looking racy though. We're going to have to be careful. Leclerc might have a look here. He's had a good exit out of the little sequence of slow corners. We're going to go defensive into the chicane. Hold off the inside line. Try and still set up the exit if we can. Also, Verstappen's now out of this, especially if we start to battle. Max can still get back in this, so we're not out of the woods yet.
There's 4 laps of fuel remaining.
And 2 laps of this race to go. Here comes Leclerc again. He's closing. Is he close enough? I don't think he is. We're going to take the chicane like normal. He was trying to, but I don't think he managed to outbrake me. 1 more lap to survive. I think we can do this. I'm feeling confident. Max isn't quite going to catch unless we battle heavier, so we can do this. We won't get the fastest lap, but that's for sure. Right, let's try and survive. 1 crucial DRS zone. I'm running out of battery. Here comes Leclerc. This is going to be Leclerc at full power as we have to defend this one. He's alongside really early. Into the chicane we go. Side by side. Still side by side. We managed to hold on the long way round. Not over yet though. He's going to be running full power and I'm running out of ERS through senior for the last time. Verstappen now also arriving on the scene. Keep it clean. Keep it clean. Let's not throw this away now. This race win could be huge for us this season. It might just give us a chance. Doesn't help Verstappen's P3 at one point. It looks like he's going to be way lower, but still, it's a massive 25 points that's going to come our way Here we go, through the final couple of corners. Just trying to hold on now for dear life. Final corner, clean exit, use the battery on the run to the line, and we're going to win in France. What a race. Come on.
They said to bring it, and it has been brought!
Great job, you've done everything we wanted today.
Another superb French Grand Prix comes to an end, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
The faces on our top three look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
Well, that was a very, very well-deserved race win. We pick up a huge 25 points, and Verstappen doesn't get the fastest lap, so we outscore him by 10 points, which is good. It's great to see us on the race winner graphic on the left. I think the car livery and the suits and everything, it all looked too good to not at least see this once in this season. So I'm glad we've at least got a race win. Leclerc finishes second, Verstappen third, and then outside the podium we have Daniel Ricciardo in P4, Perez P5 in the second Red Bull ahead of Lando Norris in the first Mercedes, Giovinazzi and Latifi in the points, fair play, with Sebastian Vettel and Sainz rounding out the top 10, missing out the points, Ocon, Russell, Bottas, Stroll, Gasly, Lundgaard, Schumacher, Matsushita, Schumacher again, Mick Schumacher in this case, Mazepin, and then Ilott and Sillard out of the race. And it just goes to show again, Michael Schumacher, just off the pace this race. I mentioned it earlier on, but for some reason his AI isn't that fast, and I'm being honest, it's not difficulty related. I'm running a higher difficulty than I was at the end of Season 4, and he's not performing, man. So I'll be surprised if he doesn't even renew his contract, not because of me, because of him, because the car isn't that great. Anyway, in the standings, we are P7. That race win gets us right back in the mix. We're 54 points off Verstappen, but then we're only, I think, 22 points off Bottas in P3, so we're back in the mix. That is a massive confidence boost and the right, boost of momentum we needed, because the next two races are Austria and Silverstone, which are probably two of my worst tracks because the AI are quite strong around there. So we'll see how that goes in terms, maybe with some upgrades we could try to counter the AI's performance. In the Constructors, we are P7, we overtake AlphaTauri, so again making progress, and only 6 points off Alpine, so we're not too far off the top 5. Mercedes though still lead the way as we move on to the next race. So there's a massive race here today. We're now going to move though into upgrades to try and keep pushing in the right direction. Now we have quite a few things to get through. First of all, a personnel department event. Then we've got quite a few things going on the 28th, so we'll have a look at that, and then the Austrian Grand Prix in just a couple of days time. Activities wise, all we can do is simulator training, so we'll give that to Michael Schumacher. With that said, we have 2,200 R&D points. We've got a brake upgrade on the way. We're going to add to that by throwing down some powertrain upgrades, because we are entering that stage where we're approaching Spa, Monza, Silverstone, those kinds of races. So we'll go for the exhaust. It's expensive, but we'll get it on there. That's going to help us out massively, and we can't quite afford the road to speed, which is a bit of a shame, or the fuel efficiency. What about anything on the chassis maybe? The brake disc has failed, so we're going to have to repurchase that in fairness. I don't think we can do anything else. I want to try and get this one here, the front nose cone structure, because it's a massive boost to performance. But we can't quite afford that right now, so we're going to have to go for this and repurchase the brake upgrade. So I think that means we're going to have no upgrades on for the next race, I think, as far as I know. So a bit of a shame, but we should have a few on for the race after that. Now then, let's get through this. First of all, the event, let's see what they have to say. Driver training, we have an opportunity coming up to book some time with ex-driver Lucas Weber on a consultancy basis. It'd be useful for our team and drivers to get some insight from someone with prior experience in F1. Should we go ahead? It would cost us money, but it would improve our racecraft. But for some reason we can't accept it. not sure why we're not allowed, so I guess we just have to decline it. Now we have a double sponsorship renewal situation here with Ashave and Polar. Quite happy with them. Obviously, we recently signed them this season, so we'll go ahead and renew that. I've got no issues. And I think we're done for the day. I would spend the cash on facility upgrades, but we're approaching the contract renegotiation stage, so I want to have some cash on board so I can afford anything that I want. So bear with me here as we skip on to Austria. So yeah, the next race, Austria, round 7. A bit of a tougher track for us. The AI a bit better around there, but I do feel like we can, fire. The car is getting better, and I think also I've got a decent setup for that one as well, because recently I've done the esports event around there, so I think I might have something up my sleeve. After that, Silverstone, that worries me a little bit more, so we are going to have some upgrades on. We've got 2 upgrades, of course, arriving, so those are going to really help us out, and maybe even another one if we get time to put another upgrade on. Either way, that's going to be it from me here today, guys, for today's episode. What a result. We needed that win so badly, because it just turns our season into a bit of an opportunity for us to fight back. So I really, really hope we can do that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys are too. And El Plan, the fight back is on. We've still got, 10 rounds to go. So we can definitely do this. So yeah, hopefully you guys believe with me, and we will try and fight back and see if we can win, or in this case, retain our crown. So leave a like on the episode if you enjoyed it. Let's smash 1,200 likes for the race win. Subscribe for more. I do daily F1 content, of course, on my channel, so do get subscribed for that with notifications turned on, of course, for every upload that I do. As always, a big shout out to the members for supporting my content. I love you guys so much. Really, really appreciate it. And finally, check out the 2 videos on screen right now if you haven't seen them. But yeah, that's it from me, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Until then, take care, and that's goodbye from me.